Yo guys, so today's pretty exciting. I am unveiling my new track car project. I'm pretty excited about it altogether. I'm really looking forward to getting into it. Yeah, let's get to it and see what it is. Yo guys, you joined me in my new car, so I bought a sports car.
It was a Miata.
Oh, come on, that's not a sports car.
That's a legitimate sports car.
Nope, next.
Yeah, no, I bought a Mazda Mx5 NB, so Mark 2.5, and yeah, it has the 1.8 engine in it. I don't think it's the SVT. I literally don't know a lot about MX5. I've never paid a lot of attention to them because I've just always assumed that I would never fit in one. I know that I definitely don't fit in a Mark 1 without it having some kind of modification, and the Mark 3 is just absolutely horrendous for room. So yeah, but I went to test drive 3 Mark 2.5s. Yeah, first one was rotten as hell and it just wasn't worth anything near what he was asking for it. The second one was not too, drove really nice actually. It was a really nice car to drive. Everything felt really tight, like it had obviously been well looked after mechanically, but the rot had got to that as well. All the bottoms of the front wings weren't even attached to the car, you could literally, the whole bottom half of the front wings had just rotted away, and yeah, the back of the sills were starting to go, the arches. So then I had a look at this one, and it was a lot more solid. It's got a lot of surface rust, but it has had 2 new sills put in it by the garage that I bought it off, and it seems pretty solid underneath. I've had a good poke around underneath, and it seems pretty solid, so I'm pretty happy with it in that aspect. It doesn't drive as well as the second one I went to test drive, so yeah, the gears feel a bit more sloppy. I think it's been lowered on springs and standard shocks, and I think the shocks are a little bit worn out, and the suspension has a few little knocks here and there. Nothing bad, but just every now and again when you hit a big bump, it does make a knocking sound from one corner. So it just needs a little bit of TLC. I think obviously one of the first jobs is going to be to try and sort some of the issues out. I'm going to try and accommodate me a little bit better. Yeah, because I'm 6'7", so I literally only just fit in here. I have actually slammed the door on my leg a few times and crushed it between the door and the steering wheel. So it's tight.
Yes, you are tight like a tiger.
I only just fit, but yeah, I've just never really considered one of these because I just assumed that I would never ever fit. But I think once I make a few modifications to it, it'll actually be quite a nice car to drive. The options I had, I wanted another simple track car, basically, like my Nissan Micra. So my Micra was just a little 1.3 twin cam engine, and it was so simple to work on. It never really gave me any issues. Yeah, it was just a really reliable little car. So I wanted something like that, but just with a little bit more poke. And yeah, I had a few cars that I considered, so I thought about another K11 Micra was one of the options. But I couldn't find a decent 1.4 Micra, and I couldn't be bothered engine swapping and stuff, just because of the lack of space I've got to work with. I don't really have anywhere I can do an engine swap. The other one was a Toyota Yaris T-Sport, and there was a Suzuki Swift Sport, EP3 Type R. But the EP3, the reason I didn't go with the EP3 was just because it was going to be a real tight squeeze getting it in my garage, and yeah, it was a tad too big. But yes, the EP3 was the option, another option. The Proton Saturated GTI, and then this. So I went with this basically because my ideal track car, if money wasn't an object, I wouldn't have anything mad. I'd have like I'd just want a Toyota AE86, maybe with like a F20 CS 2000 engine in it. But yeah, that would be my ideal track car, but obviously I don't have 12 grand to just chuck on a track car, so yeah, I have to make do realistically with what I can get. And the MX5 was basically the closest thing that within a decent budget that I could get like those kind of characteristics from. So yeah, and if I've learned anything from owning Mazdas, so I had an RX-7 and an RX-8, is they know how to make a really decent rear-wheel drive front engine car. So yeah, it feels really well balanced. Like I say, the suspension's a little bit sloppy with age, so it does need a little bit of work, but nothing we can't sort out. I'm gonna go find somewhere to pull over now, and then I'll show you around it. Yeah, so this is my Mk2.5 Mazda Mx5. I never thought I'd ever own one of these cars, to be honest with you, but it seems like the perfect car for what I want. So yeah, it's a Mk2.5 Mx5 in a super masculine colour.
Fuck
I am not gay.
the hell, buddy.
Buddy, I said I am not gay.
I actually really like the colour. The colour was a big selling point for me. It just stood out. It was a lot different from a lot of the other ones you see on the road. And yeah, it's just a nice little car. It's got a few little bits of surface rust on it, but a lot of the chronic rust has been sorted out, so it's not too bad. Yeah, it's got a few nice little extras. With it being the 2.5, it's got like the fog lights in the front bumper. It did have the Mazda speed lip to go with the rest of the kit, but it got tore off. So that is actually a replacement bumper. That isn't the original bumper, because the whole bumper got tore off apparently. So I would like to get a lip for the front just so that it doesn't sit higher than the rest of the car. Did have originally the full Mazda speed kit on. I think it's the Mazda speed kit. Like I say, I don't know anything about MX5, so correct me if I'm wrong. I am quite happy to admit that I'm wrong with this, because like I say, I've never really considered one before, so I've not paid a lot of attention to them, just because I never thought I'd ever fit in one. So yeah, it's got the Mazda speed girts, the spats at the back. It does have a stainless steel exhaust on it from like the cat back, but it's really, really quiet. I think it's literally just been made of stainless steel just to stop it rotting again. The spoiler is a nice little extra. It's adjustable as well, which is pretty cool. You can adjust the tilt on it. and the hardtop. Hardtop was a massive selling point. This was the only one that I actually looked at with the hardtop. I think the hardtop looks sick on them, so that was a big selling point. It's got the roll bar in the back, and then the wheels. I have no idea what the wheels are. They look absolutely horrendous. So yeah, they're just absolutely pitted to like crazy. So I would like to change them at some point, because yeah, like I say, the plan for the car is for it to become like a weekend track beater. So I want to turn it into a car that I can like still drive on the road, so have it semi-practical, just change a few little bits and pieces for track days. It's probably going to look fairly mad on the outside. I think I'm going to go quite crazy with the styling, just because I want it to stand out, and there's a lot of MX-5s about, and I want to make it look different. I'll hop inside and show you how little space I have. Bear in mind, I am 6'7", so I am pretty damn tall. I have actually shut the door a few times with my leg in between the door handle and the steering wheel and nearly broke my kneecap off. Yeah, I have to watch out for that now, but like you can see, there isn't a lot of room in here. So I'm gonna have to do something about that, obviously, because if I'm gonna use it as a track car, I need to be able to move my arms around and move my feet, because at the moment, like, that's my feet on the floor, but if my feet are on the pedals, I can't even, yeah, put my legs together. So plan is to get a smaller steering wheel. I'm probably going to get like a 280mm steering wheel, which is a really small steering wheel, which should give me a little bit more room around the bottom. Maybe even get a flat bottom one if I can find a flat bottom one, just so I've got more room for when I'm like cruising on the motorway or whatever. And then probably get a spacer just to bring it out a little bit, just so that it clears my knees and I can actually put my legs together. I'm gonna get some door cards from Track Car Door Cards, which eliminates this handle and all of this piece, so it should give me like 2 or 3 inches extra room this side. Yeah, and they still have all the holes and everything for the speakers, so that I can keep the speakers in. As for the seat, I think it has actually had some of the foam taken out of it by the feels of it, but I'm gonna get a bucket seat. I found some mounts that literally mount it straight to the floor, so that I can have the bucket seat on the floor, which should give me like an extra inch or 2 room at the bottom, which will obviously sit me lower and give me a little bit more clearance for my knees. So yeah, I'm gonna get a bucket seat for it, mount it straight to the floor. Obviously the back of the bucket seat's gonna be a little bit thinner, so I should be able to sit a little bit further back in the bucket seat. So it'll just be like that with the Track Car Door Cards. I'm gonna keep all the carpet and everything in it, because it's just a total waste of time. I still want it to be enjoyable to drive. I want to be able to use it on track as well, so I'm gonna keep it semi-practical. It's got a few little bits of rust coming through here on the arch. I don't know what I'm gonna do body wise yet. I might you can actually buy like rivet on over fenders, and with it being a track car, I might like just get the full over fenders, which are like do the whole quarter, and probably just even attempt to spray them myself, so keep it dead cheap. And yeah, same with the front wings are rusty. Yeah, maybe do the same with that. I'd like to get a lip for the front, just to make the front the same height as the rest of the car. It's probably going to be fairly Larry styling wise. It's not going to be one for the purists. I'm going to make it like a full-on track car, and I really want it to stand out. So I'd like to get some wider wheels, maybe some over fenders, probably go a bit more mad with the aero. I quite like the way that the wing is color matched to the car, so I might get some bigger wing supports, but keep that blade, because I quite like the blade, but I'd like it to sit a little bit higher. I'm itching to get working on it already, because I really want to get out on a few track days this year before all this amazing weather ends. I'm really going to get stuck into it pretty much straight away, so that I can maybe even get out on a track day next month. Plans are like probably just to sort a few little bits and pieces out. Yeah, get some better tires and wheels. Probably just stick with the lowering springs for now until I can maybe afford some coilovers. I'm going to try and sort the seat, the door cards, the steering wheel out, obviously, because I want the room for when I'm on track, just so I can move my legs and my arms around a little bit more freely. But yeah, that's the plans. Get a few of the basic things done, and hopefully maybe get out on a track day next month and give it a try and see what it feels like. Driving it on the road, it feels absolutely awesome. It feels really, really planted, well balanced. It just feels like my RX-8 did, basically, just with a little less power. that's my Mazda Mx5 project. I know a lot of you were expecting me to get the EP3. I had a few messages off people on Instagram saying to get the EP3, but I'd kind of already rolled the EP3 out just because I've had one before, and I really wanted to just get into a really simple, low budget project, and the EP3 just wasn't that. The parts are a lot more expensive for the EP3, whereas parts for this seem absolutely dirt cheap. So yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into it. Yeah, let me know what you think and leave a like if you approve of the MX5, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.